We all look forward to retirement, right? But there's this quiet little thing that can throw a wrench in our plans. It's called the retirement income gap. I know it sounds a little scary, but it really doesn't have to be. Over the next few minutes, we're going to break down exactly what that means, how you can figure out your own number, and most importantly, how to turn that feeling of uncertainty into a solid plan for your future. Let's dive in.
So let's just start with a really big question. Could you outlive your savings? I mean, it's a heavy thought, but it gets right to the heart of why we need to plan. But here's the good news. By the end of this, you'll have the tools you need to confidently answer, nope, not a chance.
And that question is more important now than ever. Why? Because we're living longer. I mean, retirement isn't just a short little chapter anymore. For many of us, it's a 20, 30, or even 40-year journey. And figuring out how to fund all that time without a regular paycheck, well, that's the central challenge. Financial planners even have a name for it: longevity risk.
This is exactly where that retirement income gap comes into play. It's the kind of shortfall that can quietly grow over the years and catch you completely by surprise if you're not looking for it. But here is the most important thing to remember. This gap is totally preventable, and we're about to show you how. So, what is a retirement income gap, really? In the simplest terms, it's just the difference between the money you'll need to live your life in retirement and the income you'll actually have coming in. It's the space between your expenses and your resources.
Think of it like a good old-fashioned balance scale. On one side, you've got all your annual expenses: housing, food, healthcare, travel, all the fun stuff. On the other side, you've got your annual income from things like Social Security, pensions, and whatever you pull from your investments. If that expense side is weighing things down, well, that imbalance is the gap we need to measure.
Okay, so the concept makes sense, but how do you turn this abstract idea into a real number? A number that actually means something for your life? That's what we're going to do right now. Let's get into the practical, empowering calculation.
And you know what? The process is actually pretty simple. It boils down to just 4 steps. We're going to estimate our expenses, add up all our sources of income, and then just find the difference. That's really it. Let's walk through it together.
To make this super clear, let's walk through an example. Meet Sarah. By following her journey through these 4 steps, we can see exactly how this calculation works in the real world, and hopefully make the whole process feel a lot less intimidating.
All right, step 1, we've got to figure out expenses. So Sarah sat down, looked at her current budget, and thought about the future. Things like housing costs, healthcare, travel, all of it. She estimates she'll need about $60,000 a year to live the way she wants in retirement. That's her target.
Okay, next, let's build the other side of the scale, Sarah's income. She's got 3 main sources. First up, Social Security, which will bring in about $22,000. Second, she has a small pension. Nice. That'll add another $8,000. And finally, she's going to draw from her investments. Using the 4% rule, which is a common guideline, she plans to take out about $15,000 a year. So, let's add all that up. You take her Social Security, her pension, and her investment withdrawals, and that gives us Sarah's total annual income. It comes out to $45,000. So now we have our 2 key numbers, $60,000 in expenses and $45,000 in income. And now, the moment of truth, the final step. Find the difference. We take her annual expenses, that's the $60,000, and we subtract her annual income, the $45,000. And there it is. Sarah has a $15,000 annual income gap. This is the shortfall she needs to solve for.
Now, seeing a gap like that isn't a reason to panic. It's a reason to plan. Honestly, knowing this number is the single most powerful first step you can take. So what can Sarah, and what can you, do about it? Let's explore the strategies.
The first strategy is probably the most obvious one. Just increase your savings rate. Seriously, even a small bump in what you're putting away in your 401k or IRA can have a massive impact down the road, all thanks to the magic of compounding.
Strategy 2 is a really powerful one. Delay retirement. Working just 2 or 3 extra years has this incredible triple benefit. First, your investments get more time to grow. Second, it reduces the number of retirement years you actually need to fund. And third, you can significantly increase your eventual Social Security benefits. It's a win-win-win. Next up, let's talk investments. Make sure your portfolio is properly diversified. All that means is not putting all your eggs in one basket. Spreading your assets across things like stocks, bonds, and maybe even real estate helps protect you from market swings and makes your retirement income a lot more reliable.
And finally, strategy 4, think about creating new income streams.
This could be something like buying a rental property or building a portfolio of dividend-paying stocks. This directly adds money to the income side of your equation, helping you close that gap from a totally different direction.
So, what's the big takeaway from all this? It's that you have control. The key is to calculate your gap every year or so, always account for those wild cards like inflation and healthcare costs, and just remember that small, consistent changes lead to really powerful results. This is how you go from feeling uncertain about money to feeling truly confident about your future.
You know, the source material for this explainer puts it perfectly, and it really sums up our entire goal today. With proper calculations, realistic assumptions, and proactive adjustments, you can transform uncertainty into confidence. So I'll leave you with one final question to think about. After everything we've covered, what is one simple step you'll take this week to start calculating your own gap and begin securing your financial future?